cool that you're having the book signing. Barnes and Noble, that's West Broad Street. It's really good. You're doing that, and then you're going to DC. What are you going to be doing in DC this weekend?
Well, it is Pride in DC this weekend, so I'm going to hang out with some friends I haven't seen in a while, and I've got a lot of people there expecting the book, so there'll be some conversation about the book and just having a little fun, a little R&R.
Tell me about your background. What inspired this book?
Oh God! When I decided to put it out last year, it was needed. The idea of states not treating convicted felons when they come home with an opportunity to advance or to show that they are willing to pay their debt to society just was needed. A voice is needed to try to correct that.
Yes.
This book started as a college essay back in 2002 about my criminal life, and a friend of mine read it and said, "You need to fill in the blanks." And for kicks and giggles, one day I did. And then printed it out, read it, scared the living daylights out of me.
Yes.
So I mailed it to myself. I didn't want to read, I didn't want to see it, and I updated it electronically up until 2007, and I didn't touch it anymore until last year. So when two people after I moved to Dallas suggested I write a book, I said, okay, God, if this was your way of asking me to tell my story, I will. Because people had asked me since 2000 to tell my story, and I would never do it. Because Virginia was such a hard state on ex-felons. I didn't want people knowing that I was a convicted felon because I figured it would eliminate my opportunity for employment.
Sure, it's kind of scary.
So, it was very scary.
So you sat down and you went to work.
Sat down, went to work, and it all happened so fast, and that was confirmation for me that it was the right thing to do.
Well, some of the notes I have, from your publicist here is so sweet. It's like, what happens when the one you love the most sets you on a path to self-destruction? Tell me about that.
So my mother taught me when I was 6 years old how to shoplift.
Okay.
And I was a mother's boy. My father was very abusive to my mother. And I thought I hated him. So when they split, I was excited. And when she taught me, she also taught my sisters how to do this. But me being a mother's boy, I did whatever she wanted. They kind of did their own thing. And it just became my way of taking care of her. So that kind of made me feel good in that sense that, I was taking care of her. And that led up until I was 20 when I got caught the last time.
Oh my goodness! But I can see that you were you're the man at the house. You were trying to take care of mom.
I guess indirectly I was, yeah.
So now, what about jail? Ooh.
Oh God!
Not the best time in the world, right?
Well, the first time it was fun.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of juvenile facility stints in there, and then when I was 16, I got caught, and the judge said, "We're going to try you as an adult."
Ooh.
So he tried me as an adult, let me graduate high school, and then a month, after I graduated, I was sentenced to 2 5-year sentences.
Oh my goodness.
And so on my 18th birthday, I was transferred to the county jail. And I did a total of 19 months. But because I was a first-time offender in the adult system, I came home first parole. But I was also at an institution where I had relatives that worked there. I was 5 minutes from home. I would go out on road gangs every day and see everyone I knew. It was no rehabilitation at all. It was just fun. It was almost like a summer camp. I had visits every weekend, and I came home, and within 20 minutes, I was literally back at the hustle. But this time, it went harder, and it was stronger because I had money to make up for from the 19 months I was gone.
Oh, wow. So back at it.
Back at it.
And then?
A year and a half later, I was caught again, and by then, the governor's office was changing from Doug Wilder to George Allen, and as you remember, George Allen's first agenda was to abolish parole. And even though I was under the old law, I was still treated as if I were under the new law. Right. And then he built all these new prisons because his idea was to lock everybody up.
Oh, yeah.
And so I ended up with 5 parole turn downs before I came home. I would have maxed out my sentence the next year, but I came home in 2000 after 7 years and 3 months.
But through this, somehow, all this self-discovery happened, and you realized that what you thought was love wasn't really.
Yes, and it was odd how that happened because that happened in 1995 when I got my second parole turned down. I went into the deepest depression I've ever experienced. I wanted to kill myself, literally. Yeah. And a stranger saw me because I was young. I was always taken under the wings of the older inmates.
Right.
And so he called me to the side and he said, "Why are you here?" Now, we had never had conversation before. And I was always respectful, so I said, "I got caught." And he said, "Why are you here?" So I got busted or something like that. And he said, why are you here? So I got mad. I got up to walk away. He was like, sit down. And so I sat back down, and he said, I'm going to ask you again, and I want you to think about it before you answer me. Why are you here? And everything just went back to that day in that grocery store when I was 6 years old. And that was the revelation that I had, that my mother had been behind all of my legal troubles.
Mm-hmm.
And before I had never,
Put it.
I had never even pointed the finger at her, simply because she was my mother. I was making her happy. And when a district attorney used to attack her when he was sentencing me, I used to get angry because, that's my mother. And
Sure.
so that's when that revelation happened.
And so